Charlie Kirk once said, Lahaina burned because, and I quote, the people believed in goofy pagan. And the goofy pagan he's referring to is the Hawaiian belief that life comes from water.
So Jesus, he said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life, and no one can come to the Father except through me. So if he's the only way to peace with the Father, and there are these other beliefs that are out there that are contrary to his will, then that would mean they're not true. Ultimately, there's an enemy of our souls, Satan, and he'll try to deceive people into believing anything except the gospel. So ultimately, if someone is believing something that's contrary to Jesus and the truth, then ultimately they can't come into peace with God, and they'd be eternally separated from him.
For those of you who don't know, this is Nicholas Bowling, and he was recently at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, invited by their Turning Point USA chapter. And aside from the sad desperation of 30-something-year-old white men going to college campuses to own the students that are 10 years their junior, I am disappointed to report that the colonizer attitude of this type of person is still very present in the way that they talk about Hawaiian culture and Hawaiian people. Nicholas Bowling said point blank that the Hawaiian belief that water is life is influenced by the devil, contrasting the Hawaiian perspective of life-giving waters with the gospel. But the thing is, the Hawaiian perspective of water being life is not just a Hawaiian concept. It is present in every culture across the globe, and it is even present in the Bible. The Bible consistently references water as both physical and spiritual salvation. Water is used as a conduit and is used for baptism. Hawaiians and the people who wrote the different parts of the Bible all acknowledge the inherent divinity of water. Not to mention that water is a physiological requirement for life. It's biologically necessary in order for us to live. And you guys all love biological reality, right? But even all of that aside, if the Hawaiian culture is so destructive for our people, my question is, how come you're wearing that lei? Just so you know, lei don't exist without Hawaiian spirituality. Gathering materials to make lei is a spiritual practice from traditional Hawaii. It requires not just reverence, but also permission from Hawaiian akua. The materials in your lei, for example, that kukui, and even the la'i, those are kinolau of lono. La'i is further used in ku'ahu for hula. And while we're talking about hula, if you ever find yourself enjoying a hula show or a luau, for example, none of that exists without Hawaiian spirituality. Hula was and is first and foremost a spiritual practice. Hawaiian spirituality and culture are all about acknowledging the fact that we have to live in harmony with our environment. And that's not exactly dissimilar to what the teachings of the gospel actually are. So if the only fundamental differences between what we believe is actually just the words, and you're here to tell us that your perspective is the only way to salvation and that all of our kupuna have been eternally damned, then you're just another colonizer, bro.